or something that we've done within the district, just sharing information, things that are going on. And committees, if we've got committees, I think that's a good way to do it. If the curriculum committee isn't meeting, then Barbara doesn't have anything to report. So that's that we did get away from it, but it is something that we used to do. So I'm open to hear what everybody else has to say, if anything.
Other comments?
To Ms. Gator's point, I don't think it need to be formal, Madam Chair, like you stated, but I mean, it's the pleasure of the board. I mean, whatever you want to do. I mean, Superintendent Jolly does attend a lot of meetings, and like you said, it's a partnership. I mean, a lot of times he can't make the meeting, so he'll text me or call me, and if I'm not able to do it, I'll let him know. But we always want some type of board representation just in that facilities and construction. Other committees, probably not. I mean, Barbara sees the seniors, and I usually go many times. Me and Barbara was there, and it's good to see the senior citizens, and they want to hear it because they don't get it sometimes. So.
But that's not a committee.
That's not a committee.
I understand, but I mean, you said that the formal and tell information what you did about the district. Barbara could share that, like, oh, I was at the senior meeting, and boom, this would happen.
I'm just referring to committees.
That's not a committee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, committees, I don't think we need a
referring to
formal
committees.
report.
I understand what you're saying, Mimi, and I do want to add clarity. I'm not saying a formal. I'm saying, do we want to be more formal, putting it on the agenda where we'll have a section that says
It's up
board
to the board.
updates?
I'm fine with it. Whatever.
Okay.
And I think if you leave it kind of open.
Yes.
For that purpose.
Yes.
Yes.
If I meet with the curriculum committee, and I haven't, well, last year with the pandemic, I don't even think.
It wasn't a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put it back on Mr. Jolly. I think, I'm going to use Dr. Caver for an example for the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
I would really like it if they would contact me if they having a meeting. Now, if they meeting every month, every week, I'm not going to commit myself to say I can come every week. But if they meeting once a month, I would like to be included in that particular meeting.
So but would it be a meeting where they're just discussing day-to-day stuff, or would it be a meeting like with what you did in the past?
If they going to change, are they looking at
Textbooks or
changing
something.
a curriculum?
Yeah,
That's the only, I'm not interested in the day-to-day operation.
right. And one other thing, so Earl talked about, adding me to budget and finance. It wouldn't hurt to have two board members. Ray brought up a good point. If he can't make it to a meeting, another board member, he could say, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. You're the next person on the on the facilities committee. Could you come? Representing the board. So that's just a thought, guys, to maybe have a second person, or we just say, Ray, if you're not going to make it, would you let the board know, and maybe somebody else could volunteer to go, something along those lines. Just so there is representation. I'm done, I'm sorry.
That's okay, no apologies, good discussion. So I think, from my perspective, we did make sure that you were noted as a backup to join Earl.
Right?
And I think it'll be helpful, because I know we've asked for an overall board education on district financing. But if anybody does need a backup, we just call each other and say, can you go?
Right.
Okay? Is everybody good with that? Do we want
I'm
to
good with that.
put, okay. All right, really good, robust discussion. As a result of this, we will be, as we're coming out of COVID, because we had this item on the agenda pre-COVID, we'll put board updates back on the agenda. And if we have updates to deliver, we will use that section to do so. But the board president and Mr. Jolly will need to know ahead of time that we're adding, specific topics on that particular agenda. So with that, Dr. Rock, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mrs. Gator?
Yes.
Mrs. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes, motion passes 5-0, and again, really good discussion. All right, next on the agenda is item 1.9, waiver of the reading of the minutes. May I have a motion on the floor to approve this? And this is in accordance with section 3313.26 of the Ohio Revised Code. And it just simply allows us to waive the reading of the minutes prior to any of our board meetings.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve Section 1.9 waiver of the reading of the minutes.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, Dr. Rock, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mrs. Newman,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Next on the agenda is item 1.0, it's our board service fund. And again, we're asking for a motion to approve the board service fund for board members according to Ohio Revised Code 3315.15 for expenses accrued at standard conferences at $20,000. And that is aligned with our board policy 6231, 0154, and 0147 at a maximum of $4,000 per board member for reimbursable expenses for the calendar year 2022.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept item 1.10 Board Service Fund.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and properly seconded. Board, is there any discussion?
Quick discussion, and not to hold up the vote. Dr. Rock, at your next, when you give us your next treasury report, could you let us know how we did last year on this particular expense? All right.
We probably barely scratched the surface.
Right, well, I was
Probably,
wondering, I
yeah.
was thinking because of, with COVID or not, we
Yeah.
probably didn't spend much of that budget.
Right.
I
Right.
think you only went for like one thing.
Right.
Yeah.
CA Columbus.
But we did have a couple of virtual conferences.
Oh,
So,
yes.
I did
yeah.
like 4 of them.
True.
Yeah, so
We
we,
had
we
quite a few virtual conferences.
it would be good to see just a recap. I know, again, we gotten away from that. He would normally provide us with that, once a quarter, I believe it was, to let us know where we were. But we had to because we were traveling a lot then.
Yeah.
All righty. Any further discussion? May I have Dr. Rock, can you please call the vote?
Mrs. Newman,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. All righty. Next on the agenda. Oh, you know what? I am going to ask for a massive apology. I didn't turn the page. Can we rescind that motion and rescind that vote? Because the back part of that item also include the board designating and approving our conferences that we don't have to get additional approval for. So if we can rescind that motion, so I can have a motion to rescind the motion, and then we'll take that one back to the floor. I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, I move that we rescind 1.1 Board Service Fund.
All right, thank you. May I have a second?
I
Second.
All right. Do we have to vote on that, Dr. Rock?
No, you just
Okay.
need to new vote.
All right, so now I need to correct the ask for the motion for 1.10, the board service fund to include everything I noted before, but the board is designating and approving the following conferences as standard conferences for 2022: NASB Annual Conference, OSBA BLI, OSBA Capital Conference, and the Council of Great City Schools. And this is with the caveat whether we travel or attend via virtual conferencing. Now can I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we accept 1.1 Board Service Fund, listing all of the conferences that you mentioned. I won't list them all again because they're already on the minutes.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Dr. Rock, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Newman,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, again, thank you for that little lapse there, and thank you for rolling with me. Motion passes 5-0. Next on our agenda is the last one that we have to do individually, and this is item 1.1, Board Travel Professional Development Conferences. What in the world happened here? Okay, never mind. This is the discussion and vote for travel to professional development conferences that require board approval prior to registration, and these are non-OSBA conferences or conferences outside of what we've already approved.
So like DSC. Gotcha, okay.
May I
Madam
have,
Chair, I move that we accept item 1.11, Board Travel Professional Development Conferences.
May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any discussion here? Hearing none, Dr. Rock, can you please call the vote?
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes,
Mrs. Moon,
Yes,
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Next on our agenda is, again, the organizational meeting is just straight setting our business for the year. But items 2.1 all the way through 2.17,
1-7.
1-7.
if we can have a motion on the floor to approve our standard authorizations for superintendent and treasurer, and that will be items 2.1 through 2.17 for the 2021,
Madam Chair,
2022
I
school
move
year.
that we accept as a consent agenda, item number 2, approval of standard authorizations for superintendent and treasurer, items 2.1 through 2. Did you say 17?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
1-7.
May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. It's been moved and properly seconded. Board, is there any discussion on any of these items?
Quick question.
Uh-huh.
So, and I know we haven't done it in the years in the past, but I forgot about Conser, the attorney. Why don't we add him on here? Is
Wait,
there any
who?
reason he does real estate? We never board approve him.
Who?
We just have.
Tom
one
Kind,
case.
the gentleman that does.
Oh,
the,
that was just
yeah.
here.
We've never added him.
He's
And
just on one case that we're working on. We really don't have to put him on here because it's a continuance, because the case is still open.
so he
Can you
doesn't
hear?
do any of the other real estate stuff for us.
We're just
Who's doing all of that now?
That's Retzel, Jason.
Russell's doing all of that?
Chris
No.
Williams does all the other board revisions.
So board revisions, that's,
Oh, she said real, I thought you said real estate.
It was real
Yeah,
estate,
it's,
but
it's real estate board of revisions.
Yeah.
like-
Oh,
it's contesting property values.
no, but she said who does the rest of the real estate?
Jason does like the negotiations with
for contract.
contracts with real estate.
And
Board.
Conser just does tax valuations.
Tax valuations,
Real property, realty property.
So we feel as though we don't need to add him on here, even though, I mean, we're still paying him.
It's just one case that's been open that's continuing every year, so, for the past so many years.
That's all I have now.
Okay.
It was a good to notice that, though.
All right, if there's nothing else, Dr. Rock, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Gator,
Yes,
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes,
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
yes.
Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Next on the agenda is item 3. We need a motion on the floor to approve the treasurer's report and financial recommendations, and that will be item 3.1, the 2022 alternate tax budget.
Madam,
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the item 3.1.
May I have a second?
a second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the 2022 alternate tax budget? Again, Dr. Rock sent that to us, a week ago or so? Were there any questions? All right, hearing none, Dr. Rock, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes,
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes,
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. This brings us to the announcements portion of our organizational meeting. Are there any announcements?
I don't have anything else.
All right, Dr. Rock, is there any correspondence?
Madam Chair, I do have an announcement I just wanted to share with the board. As we are no longer members of the National School Board Association, and I'm no longer a member of the CUBE organization, 19 actual state associations have been working since November to put together another type of National School Board Association CUBE program. So the program actually would be called Urban Boards of Advisory Committee. It's with the 19 state associations. The first meeting will take place January 26th. They're trying to have an actual 3-day conference in Chicago, August 11th, 12th, and 13th. once they iron out all the details. But it's going to be 19 state associations putting together this urban boards of advisory committee. So I'll let you know, and I'll get back with you and maybe send out emails from Rick Lewis of OSBA to let you know how it went on the 26th of this month.
So how is Rick driving this with the
It's
other
not,
state board?
it's actually driven by, you might have met her, Madam Chair, Gina Patterson from Virginia. So Gina is the driving force of that, and he said that she wanted me to call him. He called me today, but she's driving it from Virginia.
Okay, please keep us posted to find out, what will happen, what OSBA is going to do, and how it will impact each
Well,
of us.
OSBA is definitely going to be joining this urban advisory committee. They're going to be on it.
And you don't know how much it's gonna cost the district, right?
I don't know on any of that.
So will they, if they'll do it like they did Q's, where people nominated, or have you guys even gotten that far yet?
They haven't got that far, but they want to do it, Mimi, just like you. So it's going to be urban education, urban board members getting urban best practices.
And professional development.
Correct.
I'm sorry, say that again, Dr. Rupp?
Oh, and professional development
Gotcha, okay.
for board members.
Thank you, Member Farron, for that
Thank you.
information.
Thank you.
I
ahead,
did have
Mr.
an announcement. So tomorrow, the high school would be remote. The high school would be remote. They have to turn up the water sometime tomorrow. We're not sure how long, but we wanted to make sure that we were good at the high school. Our OC members will report, we will have them reporting to other buildings. So their security will report to various buildings, and also our secretaries will report to the old board to answer the phones, because school is still in session. Parents are still calling and need customer service. We anticipate going back to school on Monday. We are watching the numbers. We're working with the Colvin County Board of Health, coordinating with districts that surround us, Maple and others. So we hopefully will have a definite decision, hopefully by the end of tomorrow or early Friday. Definite if we're going back Monday. Right now, it looks like we are. Solon, some of our neighbors are in school, Shakers in school, others in school. Again, this is a very tough time trying to determine how to go back to school. Very tough. All the information that we're getting. Trying to make the best decision for all, keeping everybody safe. But at this time, it looks like we will be in school Monday, unless something drastic comes from the Colvin County Board of Health. You'll probably hear about it on the news or something if something comes to that magnitude, and then people will go that direction.
Are you hearing that a lot of staff members, or I shouldn't even say a lot, but are there staff members that are not able to come to work because of
So right now, it's not a lot.
quarantines or?
Yeah, right now, it's not a lot. I would say before the break, we saw those numbers inching up before the break, and that's why we called school off on that Friday, because the numbers were high. But this week, they have not been that high. People are getting tested. We will have testing tomorrow at the rec center. So we haven't tested every Wednesday and every Thursday in January. People have to use their insurance to get tested, but we have the availability. So we are testing. Our sports teams are testing once a week. We'll probably be bringing a contract to you to test our sports teams once a week. So we test every athlete once a week to make sure that they are COVID-free. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure everybody's safe.
Okay.
Again, having kids in school is the best way for them to learn, but we want to do it the safe way.
You said you are testing every Thursday?
Every Thursday at the rec center,
From what time?
10 to 2.
And that's just for staff?
Is that just?
No, it's for anybody.
For the community.
For
Any
anybody?
community can come and get tested. Long as they have, you have to fill out the insurance card.
But they have to have insurance?
I believe so. I have some type of insurance to get tested.
Oh,
There's some forms they have to fill out to for her to get the representative to test.
so, okay, so if someone in the community comes up to be tested, how do they get the result?
They instant. They don't get them within 15 minutes. They're doing a
Really?
rapid test there.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
rapid test.
Okay, I'll let them know.
So we want to test people. And then we also The district has secured some tests too. They're proctoring that, it's a proctored test. So if people can't get a test, we have a supply. And these tests are proctored. You fill them off and then you gotta log online and then they go through the whole process with those tests. That's how we know they valid, because they're proctored. They're proctored by a company. So we have those tests. We have the Wednesday test. So we're gonna be testing frequently in the district to try to make sure all our people are good.
So is this just for the month of January?
For the month of January at this time.
Okay.
For the sports, we're gonna go, I think we're gonna do till March. And then re-look at read and see if we need to test every week at that point.
Okay.
I just forwarded the email that we got, I think we got it yesterday or today about the testing.
Yeah, from Savannah.
Yeah. It came out this morning,
Yeah.
and it has a link in there to go in and register
Okay.
for a time slot. So I just forwarded that, sent back again to everybody.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. Let me see, I have one.
Okay. Anything else?
No, those are the most pertinent. It's just getting the kids back in school, and doing it safely.
On basketball team time?
Actually, they played yesterday. They are playing. Our boys did not play all Christmas break, and their first game was yesterday. They played at home yesterday. Played Shaker, and our girls are playing Maple right now as we speak at the high school.
Okay. So what about, are we limiting the people, or it's just business as usual?
Yeah, well, the crowds have been so small, there's really no need to limit. We fit 1,100 people at the high school gym. Highest total we had was the first game was 300, and they haven't seen anywhere close to that since.
Mask
So-
mandate?
I'm sorry.
Mask mandate?
Mask mandate, yeah, we have mask mandate. The district has a mask mandate. Any district facility or building, you must wear a mask. So it's mask. In the event that we do think we're gonna have a big crowd, then we definitely will keep the numbers at but when we were doing it last year, we could get 300 in the gym. Last year, when there was a limit on how many people you can get in, there was about 300 limit at that point. And we haven't came close to that at all this year. That concludes my update.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Please stay safe. And if I can have a motion to adjourn the January 5th, 2022 organizational meeting.
Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn the meeting. Try to wait for other people.
May I have a second? May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned. Everybody have a great evening. Please, please, please stay safe.
All right. Look, I'm double masked.
I